Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamika Robinson, and here on this channel, we are all about uplifting, encouraging, and motivating you to become a better version of yourself by solely focusing on you and learning how to heal from the things that we all know we need to heal from. So, if you are new here, I would like to welcome you. If you are returning, I want to personally say thank you and I'm going to jump right into it. This channel is for people who have suffered from childhood trauma. Okay. So if that's not your story, then this is not going to be for you. And I'm okay with that. So getting right to it. Today, I have a message about how it's important for you to recognize the source, okay? The source of everything, the source of your pain, the source of why you went through what you went through, and the source of things that happened to you that you don't understand or know why or ever got help from, right? And look, the source is God, period. No matter how you slice it up, dice it up, cut it up, the source of all things is God, right? So, in order for you to get the healing that you need from deep seated wounds, that only the source would know where you are hurting, right? Only the source is going to be able to feel what you felt, know what you know, think what you think, not other people. See, you could be in a room full of people, right? And nobody knows what you're really thinking and how you really feeling, no matter how good of a show you put on, or no matter how good or well you pretend that you're just going along to get along, especially when you are surrounded by people in your family and in your life that has caused some of those wounds, right? Or while you're surrounded by some of your parental figures who never protected you from the pain and from the things that you suffer, right? So it's it's important that you recognize to go to God as the source, right? Because look, a therapist, right? Let's just take a therapist for an example. A therapist that grew up in a two-parent household, okay, no trauma, a good life, went to college, studied, graduated, got degrees, and read books on how to become a therapist, right? They won't necessarily know what you felt or feel what you feel. So therefore, the help that they provide is coming from out of a textbook. It's coming from something that they read, not something that they felt or something that they endured. You see, when you choose to heal, when you put God first, it's like going to a therapist that went through exactly what you went through, that knows exactly what happened, who did it, when it happened, and how you felt through those things that you had to suffer. And you know what? A lot of people like to brush over your childhood trauma or their childhood trauma and pretend or act as if it never existed and that you should just move on and move forward with your life without digging up those old bones or skeletons, right? A lot of people are like that. And a lot of people will fill your head with just moving on, right? But how do you move on when you never stop to get the healing? How do you move on with a wound that has not been healed? How can you climb up a mountain with an open scab and an open wound and an open sore on your legs, right? How you gonna get up the mountain? You're not gonna be able to make it very far. And that's how it is with God. God wants you to come to him and look to him as the source of your help for your pain. Because see, I could talk to you all day, but God knows exactly where you hurt. God knows how you feel, those feelings that you try to ignore deep down inside of you. And it's important that you start there to get the healing, right? Because it's like you have that voice that's inside of your head. It's not there for no reason. It's there for a reason. That is your higher self. That's like your compass when you are lost in the middle of a forest or in the middle of a city that you don't know where you at, and you need a compass to guide you and tell you which direction you need to go in. And see, if you never get healing, then you are never going to be able to pay attention to that small, still voice, that compass that tells you where to go. So if you don't have the compass to tell you where to go, then that means you're going to be listening to every outside voice. You're going to be paying attention to every outside energy, and you're going to be reaching outwards for everything that you already have inside of you. So when you surround yourself with people that you call your family, your ride or dies, because you still want to stick around and you afraid to separate and you don't want to offend anybody, you are doing yourself more harm and more damage. You won't be able to reach inwardly and get the healing from the source that you need. So it's evident that you pay attention to you, because we living in days and times now where everything we see we want to do, everything somebody else have we want to have, right? Every place we see other people go and share their vacations and their lifestyle and their aesthetics, we want what we see other people have. But when you get your healing from childhood trauma, it's going to teach you how to reach for what you truly and genuinely want. And you can't get what you truly and genuinely want if you don't heal from that stuff and those things that you know you've been through. So yes, the source is God. Going to God, it's like going to a therapist that was raped, that was molested, that was beaten, that was abandoned. So therefore they can relate to how you felt versus a therapist that read some things out of a book. That's not taken away from the therapist or their degrees, right? But they don't know how you felt. They can't even imagine or fathom the things that you had to endure. So when you go to God, you're going to somebody that was sitting right next to you, that was holding your hand, shielding you from things that you don't even know you were shielded from. When you go to God, it's like going to the source that knows exactly where you hurt at, exactly how you feel. And he knows how to heal you and how to help you if you give him the time. And if you give yourself the time. See, nobody else can do it for you. Nobody is going to take you by the hand and lead you and guide you to your well-being and lead you and guide you to the things that you really want. Not the things that you see other people have. You, yourself. And if you never spend enough time with yourself, you will never know what you want. You will always be susceptible to somebody else's dream, somebody else's life, somebody else's opinion, and not your own. Because see, that's what childhood trauma does. It puts a stunt on your growth. So you can only get so far. You're going to always reach out for outside validation. You're going to always be willing to stay in that relationship that is not serving you at all, just so that you can be with somebody. Why? Because you're afraid to sleep alone by yourself at night. You rather be unhappy, or you rather appease the status quo and present yourself in this relationship like everything is good, when deep down in your heart, you know that you are not happy. You know that you deserve more, but you just feel like you don't deserve to have it, so you settle for less. And another thing, you can stay around the people that hurt you if that's what you choose to do, right? But if you think about it and take those rose-colored glasses off, if your parental figures and your toxic family members were able to allow you to go through what you went through and treat you the way that they treat you, because see, when you're the underdog and the black sheep, you don't get treated like everybody else, and you know it. You know it in your heart. You know it in your mind. You may not speak on it, you may not show it, but you know you're the black sheep and you're the underdog. And you have all these unanswered questions as to why your family do you the way they do you. Why people don't show up for you the way you show up for them, right? And if you continuously surround yourself around those people, then that's going to be the end of your story. You will never be able to pick up a pen and a paper and be able to rewrite you a new story, be able to see the healed version of you if you don't give God the time. And see, that's where a lot of people fall short, because they don't want to separate. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to bring it up. They don't want to feel weak or feel vulnerable. They don't want, the family to go against them. Those are the very same people that are causing you the harm. You want to know why? It's because, check it out, I'm over here where I'm at, and you are where you are. There is no way that I can cause you harm, because I'm not close to you. That's why it's always family and friends and your lover that you sleep next to that cause you the most harm, because those are the ones that are closest to you. You got to remember that you cannot see people's intentions. You can only see what they show you, what they want you to see. And that's why you will always be confused as to why it seems or feels like you take 2 steps forward. You think think you're doing something, and then all of a sudden you get pushed 10 steps back, right? And then you look at the other people, and it's like you see them progressing. You see things happening in their life. And that childhood trauma will put thoughts in your mind to make you feel like they are worthy and you are not, when you have no idea that those people that you surround yourself with are a part of your shortcomings, your downfalls. So it's important that you first separate, because when you separate, then you get to be alone with yourself. And when you are alone with yourself, you start to hear yourself. And when you start to hear yourself, you are hearing from the source. And if you stay the course, the source will lead you to where you need to be to get that healing. You got to remember that it's not going to look like everybody think it's supposed to look. God's ways are higher than our ways. God's thoughts are higher than our thoughts. So yeah, you're going to have to go through some things that don't make sense, not even to you. But you got to trust the source. When you go to the doctor and you have some pain, the first thing the doctor does is take x-rays and do exams. Why? Because they first need to locate the source from where your pain is coming from. So it's important and evident that you separate so that you can give God the time to help you get over and get healed from that childhood trauma so you can be free. You can live this life on this side of earth in freedom without carrying those old wounds, all that baggage, and not being manipulated by people, not being breadcrumb, being able to receive and give equal give and take in your relationships and in your life. So it's up to you whether you want to exclude the source or include the source in your pain and in your healing. The choice is yours. Nobody can force you and nobody can make you. I'm just here to remind you that first of all, you are not alone. You are not the only one that had to suffer some horrible things in your life, right? But I'm also here to remind you that you don't have to live there. You don't have to stay there. You can get healing for yourself because your healing is for you. It's not for everybody else. So when you stop worrying about other people and start focusing in on you, then the true pain is really going to come up. Because see, change starts with you, your change. The changes that you want to see and the changes that you know you want in your life, it's not going to come from other people. It's going to come from you. So just like, look, a relationship, right? That you feel like was gonna last forever. And then things start changing, switching up on you after you fall in love. Not in love with yourself, but in love with another person. And now you are all sad on the inside because you're being treated a certain type of way because this person presented themselves in the beginning to be something more than what they truly was. And now you feel like you have to deal with it and stay with it because you feel like you're not going to be able to find anybody else, right? That's how it is with that healing and that childhood trauma you've been through. If you choose not to deal with it, then that's you just telling yourself that there's nothing better for you. Life is not going to get any better than what it already is, and that you might as well just stay and appease other people and keep pleasing other people and keep putting other people before you put yourself. If you constantly water somebody else's grass, their grass is going to grow. And your grass in your lawn is going to die because you never water your grass. You're so busy over here watering other people's grass. And that's what happens when you live with childhood trauma. Okay? So look, source. God is the source of all things. Meaning whatever you want, whatever you need to get help, to feel loved, to be loved, and to live a life that you know you truly want to live and deserve and desire to live. So it's important that you include source, God, in everything that you do. And when you do that, you're going to be okay. You're going to heal from some of these things that hurt you. You're going to be able to push through. You're going to be able to see people for who they truly are, not who they pretend to be. Excuse me. So look, y'all know we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. Anybody have not yet told you today how much they love you? Let me be the first to tell you how much I love you. But most importantly, Jesus loves us so much more. Thank you so very much for listening to me today. Stay prayed up and have a blessed day.